there were a few points where I was like, I don't know about that. But this one, he locked the fuck in. Oh, sorry, locked in. He locked in. Pardon my French. Pardon my French.
Heyo. All right, welcome everybody. I am Pato, and we are deep into game 3. We got Colin Kaiser, winner of the Atlanta tournament, against Jonathan R. Jonathan R just came back from 7 to like 3 or something scoreline, plotted his way back, played it out. Colin made one mistake in his attacks pretty much, and that was the game. And yeah, that's that's Riftbound for you. Was in a what seemed like an unlosable position, and Kaisa fought her way back. Interesting. So it looks like Jonathan R had a Bryn here in hand, is getting rid of it. Be interesting to see there. A lot of decks have Kaisa decks have adapted to the set explosion that happened when Colin came on the scene and got a win. And now Colin, 4th seed in this tournament. He's been doing good all day long. Been dicing up Kaisas. But he doesn't miss a 2-drop. We got Daring Poro start. We also have a pretty good hand for him, but 2-drop early is good. Looks like there's another Bryn here in hand. There's a lot of late game cards in hand right now for Jonathan R. So Jonathan R's early game is not going to be as scary as you would normally kind of fear with a set deck, like worrying about a lot of falling stars, that kind of thing. Colin did lose his Hillock game, which was last game, so he won't have that ganking strength that sets can make really, really scary. Right now they are on Grove of the Godwillow, so it's going to be draw, and then we also have Targon's Peak for kind of the any action. So oh, there is, okay, so there is a falling star in hand for Jonathan R. So Jonathan R has a falling star, but then he has like a time warp. He has a watcher, and I think he has Bryn here. I think that's what it was, or maybe I thought it was Bryn here, and it was actually a falling star. A lot of the big swing cards for Colin are going to be the challenge that he has in hand, primal strength if he's running it. All right, he's on that arena bar game, and he passes. So, one again, Colin has shown a lot of patience, because he knows if he goes in with his Daring Poro, he'll get a point, but it's likely he will lose the Poro on the next turn. Just kind of waiting. And this is Colin loves this right now, because what Colin can do is he can now play any 4-drop in his hand. He can play this Fiora, he can buff it up, and then he can challenge the Kaisa and kill it. And hopefully for Jonathan R, he drew into a retreat or something. He did not use a resource to target the Poro, but Okay. All right. So there we go. We're gonna go actually with Set. So Set with a buff is perfect because now he's 7 might, and so 7 might into 4. That's good. You're not gonna eat a smoke screen or anything else. Falling Star can't deal with this set. This is the dream scenario, and now Jonathan R is going to be on a task like he was last game, most likely, which is how does he get this buff off of Set and then kill it? That's basically the goal with Set. And the way you can remove it though is like that's where like a Cathian Rain comes in, but a Cathian Rain doesn't work if he has a Call to Glory in hand and he busts it through. But the 12 will, because what happens with the Cathian Rain is you hit it with you hit it for 8 with 8 of the tokens, and then you hit it for the rest. I need a stupefy in there, but you can tap it off. The triggers will follow the set back to base. Doesn't refresh. Right, they're both 1/1. Then there's Bryn here, and we're just gonna play it mainly to just have a body, because right now there's the mid game is not great. The nice part about Bryn here though is that Bryn here, beyond the ability, is just it's a decent body, but it also doesn't cost you the power to get out, so he can still keep ramping up. He does have time warp, and he does have a watcher. The watcher will be the big potential swing, so if he can clear the set on a watcher turn, and then he can Falling Star, but to do that he'll need 8, or he'll need to hit with Bryn here and hope that there's nothing in Colin's hand, which I don't think is also the best choice. I don't know if Colin is going to stack this battlefield or not, is the other kind of thing happening here. The 3 comes in. Yeah, he's gonna send him back, which makes sense. And we're gonna get him ready. Get the buff. He can also buff the first mate too after this, which is nice. Yep. And now he has 4 power in the first mate. You could just Daring Poro, but it's smaller. It's the same might on the attack, but there's no reason to. And the nice part about hitting the first mate is that at 4 might, he now is out of a Falling Star. You have to double him to get rid of him. So you could go for Cythria and the Daring Poro, but if Colin really wanted to, he could keep the Cythria alive, but he's not going to. He's going to keep the set alive from anything that's going to be thrown at him. And then they're going to go from there. And Colin, very patient again, keeping that showstopper as well. It's one of the most power cards in the game. There is the Falling Star coming out, so that is going to remove 2 of the backline units. And Colin basically probably just deciding if he wants to keep it, but I'm sure he's with 7 runes up is still going to keep his buff for Set. There's a legend ability for Set. Another development turn, has another Falling Star in hand. So even double Falling Star wouldn't get rid of the Set in this situation. We need another card on top of that. Colin gets to hold. If he really wants to, he can pull the Set back. Now this is the downside of Colin's deck, is the arena bar is necessary, and you really want to see the arena bar. The problem is though, is that you unfortunately don't want to have multiple arena bars usually, because you're not going to be saving lots of stuff. Now he does have unyielding too though, so any Cathian Rain, any anything like that, he can unyielding going forward, which is a pretty big trump card, because the Cathian Rain is also what cleared and got Jonathan R back in the game last game. This is the nice synergy. Fiora doesn't cost any power. but when you buff her, she gains a bunch of abilities. When she hits mighty, it's 5, so you just need that 1 arena bar buff, and she's there, which is really good to see. And he's actually going to leave his set on this battlefield. And the dangerous part, though, is if the set gets removed, he does have the falling star to try to get it, but Colin is setting a trap because he has the unyielding. And so Jonathan is excited about this turn, but I think he doesn't know. Oh, he does. Okay, interesting. So this is pretty smart. He's going to try to force the save in the backline early. And he can do this because he gives the minus from Watcher. So Watcher gives -3 to both of them. So he could Falling Star the backline and clear both of them. Very powerful. However, Colin just unyieldings it. And he's going to do it now instead of surprising after. So there's no like clear and then he goes to Falling Star the set and then it gets unyielding. So Jothanar knows that he could clear the battlefield this turn if he wanted to, but he wouldn't get a ton of value out of it. It looks like we're waiting another turn. Again, this is similar to last game. Colin got out to a big lead, and then Jonathan R kind of tried to shut the door. Claw his way back in. Or I guess not shut the door, but put his foot in the door. You know, like, and wedge himself through. Colin can take it in a lot of ways right now. He can take the battlefield and then back off. Jonathan, what he's done a really good job of this turn is making sure that he's developing and he still has a really strong base, because without challenge, Colin really can't do anything about that back line. So if he has like another Watcher in the tank, for example, let's say, you get the Watcher turn again, but now you have a Watcher body in there. So the slow Watcher coming through, and then probably, I'm guessing, I don't know if I haven't seen the retreats, but I have to figure he has. Ooh, and he does have the Cathian Rain in hand. So he has a Cathian Rain, and he has, yeah. So he has a Cathian Rain, and there's no unyielding to answer it this time. Jonathan R's kind of fought through. Again, he's just waiting for his opportune moment. It's very much like almost like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is what this match is, where Jonathan R is like on his back. You know, he has Colin in guard right now. He's trying to find that armbar. he's trying to get wrist control and go for an armbar, work his way back in to the fight. Colin's on top and he's throwing blows. He has double hidden blade. So I feel like what's going to happen here is there's going to be a lot of hidden blades if he really wanted to force it, because double hold here wins Colin the game, but he didn't commit to it. Cathian Rain's going to be a big hit. As it stands now, though, you'd have to use 4 ticks of a Cathian Rain to knock off the set Kingpin currently, and the 2 that follow wouldn't kill unless you had a way to reduce. He does have 10, so he could capture this far battlefield and then and then go for a time warp, but that doesn't really get you much anywhere because Colin's already at 6. But the game he played last time was basically just like, hey, I'm gonna go take one side and just really disrupt you from getting the double conquer. We're scoring both battlefields, and that's how I'm gonna buy myself more time from the win. I mean, Colin just says like, okay. And I think that was maybe an attempt to get him. I mean, like maybe a lesser player probably uses the Set's Legend ability there, but it's okay. So that's kind of the curious thing to me, because I wonder if you go to you lose more. You would lose the Thousand Tail Watcher body, which would be the downside, and maybe Hidden Blades come out, but it goes to 3. He gets the capture, he gets the hold. Now it matters what he does to try to get into this Kingpin. He can do the 10 might. He can do the 10 might Darius. Problem is that Colin has the Hidden Blades, but also if I were Jonathan, I would also be expecting that there's like a Call to Glory or potential Primal Strength over there. And Colin's just being real patient. Got that I was thinking right now, because I think he can Kathy Ray into a Hex Ray, but that's so expensive, but it would get rid of the set Kingpin. Now that's off the table. Okay, he's gonna get Darius himself onto there. Which Darius should ready, but it doesn't matter. He's gonna leave him there as a 5. But he should be ready. Comes back to Colin's turn. Colin goes to 7. We're in a similar scenario again where there's a massive hold. Colin can go back to base and Showstopper in, but he's not playing Set Brawler. So the advantage of Set Brawler over Kingpin is that right now Colin will be able to send Set Brawler to 8, bring him back to base, and then Showstopper him in, if he really wanted to. Or he could bring him back, send him to 8, Arena Bar him, spend that buff, send him to 12, then buff him. He's at 13 plus 5. It's 18. And does 18 get us there? We're at 12. 17, 18. 18 would get us there with, you would need something extra if you had Brawler. That's the advantage of Brawler. The disadvantage of Kingpin right now is that all right, let's see what he wants to cook. So he's going to trade, use his buff. He can't conquer though, so the scary part here, right, is that, oh, he's going to go back in. Okay. But you'd have no set. Because he didn't conquer, he has no set buff to save a unit. So this is all in. We're looking at, so a Cathian Rain will clear. Cathian Rain will clear the 2 big units. That's 7, and then he has 3 left, and he can Hex Ray the Cythria. In response, Colin could Hidden Blade his own units to try to draw. Oh wait, no, the set's even bigger now because the other buff units. I'm doing math wrong. So yeah, set is 7, 8, 9. So set's 9, so he couldn't clear with a Cathian Rain. So if you put, so let's look at damage. So if you put 5 on the Fiora, and then he puts, or you have to put 6 on this. So he puts 3 on the Fiora, he puts 1 on the Cythria, that's 4. And then he puts 4 on the set. The set would go down to 7, but to go down to 3. X-ray, I think, still gets you there. It's just reverse. I think it still gets you there. But he lowered the Fiora by 1. Scary Left Jonathan does have what it takes to blow this up. I thought what potentially was going to happen, was set Kingpin was going to, let's see here. Yep, there's the Cathian Rain. Because the thing is once he kills the other buffed units, Set Brawler's going to go down. And the other problem too is that these hidden blades are actions, not reactions, because they're not hidden at the battlefield. So he can't play them in response to a Cathian Rain. And then he Hex Rays, yep. And yeah, Colin's hosed here because he can't even use the hidden blade on his own units. On yeah, that's game. I think that's game. And again, the downfall of, the downside to brawlers, brawler after he has more offensive power, but he has less, and then he has a challenge with no units. So the best Colin can do here is, if he wanted to, is he could kill and yeah, that's game. Wow. Heartbreaking loss for Colin, but Jonathan R finds the armbar in this game, just basically holds it out and just plays super patient and finds it. Incredible play. Absolutely incredible play from him. And Colin's kicking himself. He had 2 games where he could have solved it, could have figured it out, but really, the tough part about Kaisa is there's just hands where you don't really have a play, right? You play around the chance that they have a card in hand, and if they have it, they got you. But at some point against Kaisa's, you have to play like they don't have it. It'd be great if you could just cleanly walk it out, but yeah, dang. Heartbreaking for Colin. 4 seed heading into the top cut today, but falls to Jonathan R. Man, Kaisa's no joke. And this is why, coming in, I thought that Colin was actually going to go off of Set, because talking coming into Houston, it sounded very much like him and his playtest group were like, yeah, Set's really strong, but Kaisa's have adapted, and it's still not consistent enough to win. Even though I've built the entire deck around beating Kaisa, I'm still not consistent if they play the matchup correctly. And here we saw Jonathan R basically play the matchup correctly, claw his way back in, hit the right cards. And unfortunately for, Colin, I think he miscalculated his ability here, because he wanted to go for the hold. I mean, that's the gamble, that he doesn't have a Cathian Rain plus something, because he's in his head. He's probably like, if he doesn't have a Cathian Rain, if he has a Watcher, I can still survive. It's only 1 unit that's going to come in. I have enough buffs that, with this really stacked up set, I'll be good. And yeah. Stacking up Arena Bar not being valuable. Hidden Blades not being valuable except to draw cards for the Kaisa player, and if he's basically just giving Kaisa 4 cards to not lose a point, he's lost the game. And that's the hard part about Kaisa. Kaisa will, the card advantage for Kaisa is very strong, and you're gonna have a lot of cards in her hand. All the cards are gonna be pretty valuable. And so you have to out tempo and outvalue her at some point, and pray to God they don't get their swing cards. But it's hard when they have so much card draw. It's hard to play into Kaisa. Just all the cards are so valuable, and there's a point where if they just hit a bunch of Falling Stars and double a Cathian Rain, you're not. There's not a lot of ways around that. Maybe if he was running 3 Unyieldings and had them all sacking in hand, he'd be good. He'd be Gucci. But you can only be so, patient. I'm really excited that we have, I'm really excited that we have so many big tournaments like this that are just out there being run. We get to watch more Riftbound pretty much every weekend. There's pretty much every day of the week around me. There's a Nexus night or something going on. Obviously for the holidays, some stuff is going to slow down a little bit, but I have a few I think there's a few skirmishes. There's one before the end of the year that I'm in, and then there's one at the start of the new year. The only downside of these tournaments is how fast they turn around on the how fast they have a turnaround on the games, unfortunately. I went to all 3 games though, so it shouldn't be too bad, I hope, because now we're in the top table, so people are wanting They're available. They can get 3 games. Okay, so let's look at the bracket here. So bracket, we have Ali is advanced. So we have Ali versus Taylor. Dizzy unfortunately fell Taylor. That's unlucky. Jonathan R is in the finals over Collins. So that was semifinals. So Jonathan R is going to be in the finals on Kaisa. And then we have Ali on Misfortune and Taylor. I don't remember what Taylor was on. So Taylor beat Mo. Okay. Dizzy ends in the top 8. Unfortunate, but good run. Still a great run that you're making through tournaments with 200 plus people, 200, 300 people. And they're probably, and something like this is going to be like, Houston has a lot of people. So you're probably going to hit more variety of a meta. But that's the tricky part there. But I would say that the skill is going to be very dense in this, 200, 300 people versus 1,200 people. And in Houston, you're going to run into people that are like, 10 games in, or like 5 games in, or have a starter deck that they modified from their friends cards. Like, it's not going to be, you're not going to run into everyone's a pro tour player, like, not that this, I'm not saying that this is it, but this is probably like, if you took like the competitive chunk out of Houston and transported to Orlando, that's mostly what I would kind of expect. And a lot of it you can see, a lot of these people were just in Houston. The varying degrees of success, of course, because again, it's harder to get through a field of unknown. Like, I played 7 different legends in 9 rounds. So I played Leona, I played against a Volibear, I played against, 2 Annies, 2 Kaisas, I played against a Yi. So those averages make a lot of sense, but the rest of the stuff too, like I played against a Teemo. So that also, like, the other thing about that is it also just kind of makes things like, it taxes you more as a player to have to play against lots of different things, because if you practice for, like the 3 main meta matchups and you played, 100 plus games against each, and you know them really, really well, then like you can kind of divert your power to, oh, we have an interview. Let's tune into the interview.
Of the 10K Riftbound event here at Pro Play Games Summit. I'm here joined again. We talked a little bit yesterday. Good friend Jonathan, who just played hands down the craziest set of the weekend. I think anybody who watched that match can hands down agree that was absolutely a masterclass. Coming into this match, you were like, I'm excited to play against Kaisa. He told me he was excited to play against Set because he played that deck to beat Set. So it was like, who's going to really come on top? Tell me how you're feeling immediately after that match.
No, I'm really relieved because on game 1 I made that critical mistake of no retreating the Darius, and that cost me that game for sure. So I was really bumped out in the first game, so I had to lock in really and try to win the other 2. Right, I know the matchup because I play Set in Houston, and I know the matchup is closer to like a 50-50 if well played. I don't know if a common misconception in this matchup is that you have to like go toe to toe, like try to score points immediately, try to go. You cannot win that battle usually, because if they have the tricks, if they have the big hidden blades, you're gonna lose that battle like most of the time. You have to try to trade as many creatures as you can on the opponent's side, living with as few creatures as possible, and then try to build a line on the back so you can actually combat whatever tricks or whatever they have. Then you're able to, like, once you have a watcher, you're able to push through whatever they have.
Absolutely. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about, so we're in game 2, right? You're down a game, you're going into game 2. It's not looking great, right? He's up to 7. I believe you're at 3 or 4, somewhere down there.
Really low, yeah.
And, it looked like the writing was on the wall. So what's going through your head here, and where you don't give up hope and you're able to just kind of reset and still come back and take that game down?
Well, I was trying to see what possible cards he could have. I kind of read the NAR, I'm sorry, I call it NAR.
The Primal Strength?
The combo strength, the Primal Strength.
Yep.
I read that one, so I was I knew I couldn't take the left side, but I had one more point to get there. So I decided to play the Watcher, because that way, if he tried to come in with the prime strength on the other guy, on the pit rookie thing.
Yeah, the pit rookie.
No, no, the 3-mana guy, whatever.
Okay.
He wouldn't be able
First
to
mate.
just take that side, and he wouldn't be able to win the game on that turn. And if he didn't come in and he saved the problem strain, it would have been a different play. But at least I have 2 dudes on the side, and I still have the ganking side, so I can still try to break the other side. So I was just trying to not play around that one. It looked really bad on that turn, because I really didn't have anything else besides the Watcher. My Watcher was like my best play on the like going forward. So I had to just play the Watcher, which was my best play like on the future. So I was just hoping, like, if I need to win this, I need to defend this one and then hope to get something out of the top. And I don't remember what I drew out of the top, but that I needed to keep the game going so I could try to win the game. That was the only way that I could have won that one.
And it worked out. I think this is definitely one you're going to be wanting to watch back later. I mean, I'm sure you've had a lot of great games this weekend, but that was an absolute insane match. So as you know, you're waiting in the finals to see who you're going to be playing against. We have Ali still playing against Taylor, I believe is who he's playing against. I'd have to double check, but I believe that's who it is. So we know there's an Annie and there's an MF left in the tournament. Talk to me about preparation. Like, what are you thinking about going into this last round? How are you able to reset and kind of try to close this?
I already, after that game, I really woke up.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But then I would rather play against the Annie rather than playing against the MF.
Sure.
Because I have less agency on that matchup. I don't like if they really draw Aurora ramp and everything else. There is least leeway that I have, less time that I can get to win the game.
Of course.
Against Annie is gonna be a brawl, but at least I have more agency on that matchup.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, I already know the matchups. The one that I don't want to face is the MF, but if I have to face it, I have to.
It is what it is, right? Absolutely. Well, I'm wishing you luck going into the finals. I think no matter which deck you play against, it's going to be an absolute banger of a match. So again, I'm wishing you luck and congratulations again on making it this far and putting on a show today.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. Back to you guys. Thank you, my brother. Hey.
This is a good interview.
Great interview as always. That was
like, it's cool to see players with like that much energy after you win, like the kind of adrenaline rush you get after coming back. And like, it really was a good game. He played a good patient game of just like a player that really knows his outs and really understands the matchup and is not just playing into what loses you games against a set player. So props to Jonathan. He definitely deserves to be where he's at. I'm looking at the bracket on the website to see. Okay, top 16. So what happened in the top 16? Top 16. George lost to Cody South. He lost 2-0. Unlucky. Mo lost 2-0. I'm interested because I think Mo is playing Misfortune as well. I'd be really interested to know what his Misfortune deck is, and I know maybe the story will end up being that, you know, didn't find Aurora, which usually is how Aurora players describe their losses. But it's interesting because we have a field that's like so devoid of like Master Yi. And I do think MF Aurora is the best Aurora. Like, I think that's inarguable, and it always was the best Aurora, but Yi was so popular that I think that, like, and because you can flex between Aurora with Yi and like a mid-range, that kind of stuff was happening. But Misfortune was always the best because she could give her units ganky. You didn't need Hillock. You have a ton of ways to dig for Aurora, so it's more consistent that you hit an Aurora. You have Ride the Wind, you have Challenge, you have Sabotage, you have Mind Splitter, which is just as a unit that you can hit is just so much more valuable than most of the units that you're going to pull on a Yi. Like, sure, White Flame Protector's big and you get a buff spell, and both of you have Dead Bloom Predator, so that's not a differentiating factor. You also have Soul Gorger, so you can Soul Gorger out your Mind Splitter back or your Dead Bloom Predator if that dies. So yeah, I feel like MF Aurora is just a very scary deck, and there's very clear sideboards against it, but playing against it is a nightmare because of Sabotage, because of Mind Splitter. Those are the two cards that really just make that matchup suck, and also the fact that Misfortune as a unit is threatened earlier than Yi. Because the problem with Yi is at 7. Usually when you go against a Yi Aurora, for example, if I'm Ari, I counterspell their ramp with I defy it, and then I just have a really aggressive game to go capture points, and I get up to 5 or 6 before they even get an Aurora out. And then, you know, in the post game 1, I out on the turn where they could play Aurora, I have an Adaptatron sitting there ready to capture. So it's like, all right, well, like I think that, yeah, it's just Misfortune just causes a lot more problems. And you have Gust, you have Fight or Flight. Like she can stall better. Like Yi basically does nothing to you early game. But Yi's basically just he's trying to ramp. If you counter his ramp spells, then he's kind of done. He's done so manifesto. He's gonna get a late Aurora. You're gonna have too many points. All you have to do is like charm him one of his big units off and you win. And then, but MF is just so much more options to interact with you along the way. And then once your units are online, she can do more with them because of Ride the Wind and abilities like that. So not surprised that MF is doing well if Ali ends up winning, which it looks like he did. So Ali won 2-1. So we're gonna have a Misfortune versus a Kaisa, and Ali really could take, like Ali was buying tickets like after Houston for this event. So if he goes to Houston and wins off this, like he was feeling really good after Houston, even though he got knocked out in the round of 64, I think. It was like 64 or 32. He lost a match, but well, if any of you were looking to buy Auroras or Misfortune cards, they're all going to go to the moon now. Especially if Ali wins this, because there's going to be a new wave of MF Aurora players, and thank goodness set 2's coming out soon, because that, like, Aurora's not fun to play against. Again, you kind of heard it from Jonathan, where it's like it's really comes down to the agency you have, because the agency you have against and then we can see the bracket here, Ali against Jonathan R. The agency you have against a Misfortune deck is just not really high. Like the most agency you have is how you is if he can stall you scoring points early and how you deal with that. But yeah, this is exciting stuff. Gonna give Dizzy a nice little shout out there. Yeah. Dang, you know, like, man, watching watching the yeah, watching this right now, like it kind of makes me jealous I didn't go. So you just like watch other people that are like, screw it, I'm going on a whim, and then they have so much success, and you're like, could have been me, maybe. Could have been me. Huh. Oh man, we got a large George post. Oh no. Hey, I think George getting knocked out is you know, he's been playing really well. And he's played a lot of this game in person, so I'm interested to see what his kind of take is here. Because okay, so let's hold on. We can turn our music back on. Okay, so it says Riftbound has a problem. I've had some unreal lucky consistency early in Riftbound. From that perspective, I'm going to share my thoughts on some issues the game is facing, as well as addressing some things that might be obstacles for its continued growth. This morning, I'm going into top cut of the second to last major tournament of Riftbound Origins. I have basically no desire to play my sets, and honestly, I've been contemplating no showing day 2 of the tournament this morning. Okay. During Lorcana's descent into Bucky madness, I made a promise to myself that I would never compete at a game where I'm not having fun. Riftbound is nearing that point for me. Why? A few reasons. The metagame has quickly devolved into playing decks built to create extremely frequent non-games at the top level. Here's an Annie example. So let's go Poro into deckhand, flash plus gust. This line checks your hand quality and then tells you to sign the slip on turn 2. There's similar ones, OTD. Likewise, Aurora curving out leaves you at extremely low win rate in high level games before you even interact. Kaisa is playing the fair mid-range game, but just happens to skip your turn sometimes twice if you miss a beat. Whoops. The problem is not that one of these decks will dominate and remain king of the meta. The problem instead is that the game feels already reduced to a revolving door of uninteractive cheese. Some people are into this deck builds especially, but it's not my preference. Aside from this, try to visualize your turns in Riftbound. They typically consist of one action card to out your opponent from a battlefield and one creature unit. Because of the way the rune curve works, the creature is usually vanilla in disguise. Maybe you get a slightly impactful keyword. Often by the time you reach meaningful, still mostly textless mid-game accelerate creatures, the subsequent turn usually decides the game by the clapback or lack thereof. All of this to say, games feel mostly on rails till they're heavily favored. This sounds a lot like someone that's played a lot of Riftbound and is to the end of the life cycle of the first set, because you're going to be limited. And so it sounds like just a natural occurrence so far, but I'm going to read further. Take a look at how the fair decks are built. They're quite literally 30% of these small textless creatures, both because missing turn 1 is doomed and because you need to pair them with action cards on subsequent turns to keep tempo. This is also why Victor's good. You don't need those creatures because he can create them. Yordle Star Kaisa turn, Darius Cleave Annie turn. This isn't some mid-game combo. It's necessary often on turn 2 or 3. This rapid spending of paired cards quickly depletes your hand unless you hit your draw combos. Keeps on, dreaming triggers, etc. This depletes your hand early, fuels variance, and further emphasizes early hand quality. Again, we're talking about turns 1, 2, and 3 here. I believe as people improve, these patterns will become apparent, causing people to be disenchanted with the game. Months ago in China, I admired the designer's willingness to print powerful interaction. A few months later, I'm left concerned they won't act to improve their game unless the same interacted. All right, we'll finish that, but interesting. My initial feeling as we head into the finals game here is that I feel like that's natural for a set one game. There's just a limited card pool, and players are going to play what is most consistently able to win them the game and hard to deal with. And so it makes sense that you would play a Misfortune Aurora deck, you would play an Annie deck. And Kaisa has the most powerful cards, but is now complaining because the other decks can have hot starts where you don't get to respond. And I think it's valid. Yeah, turn 1, 2, and 3 are very important and very powerful, but at the same time, also, you know, I think a lot of that also too is it again is a product of a lot of that again is a product of it's just the first set. So well, the other thing too is like he's apologizing to the designers and trying to say like I'm not trying to call out the designers, et cetera, et cetera. Oh no, the Trump, the people are outing themselves on their phones. I wonder if they're trying to find out rules about who goes first because it might be a higher seed in this one, but they both had the same record in the last round or something. I don't know what they're doing it off of. But anyways, George is apologizing to the designers, but the designers are designing these sets like way in advance. Like they know the names of them. Most of the cards are probably for the next two, you know, they're probably into like third set, like locking that down. Like usually a lot of the stuff is going to be like a year in advance of when it's launching is probably my guess. So like they're way down the road. And also like you haven't, like George hasn't played any of set 2, and like I feel like set 2 maybe that gets exacerbated by the power of the cards in set 2, but I think there's so much more when you add 16 more legends or 12 more legends, when you add all the cards in there, the variety of what you can play and what can be brought out is going to be very different. And the push into equipment next set is also going to be interesting here. Oh, so maybe they have open set lists is what's happening. And so they're looking at each other's lists. So sometimes that happens where like if you're allowed to look at your opponent's list, so you can look through all their cards and you don't have to guess like, are they playing some secret sauce in there? So that's the difference between an open and closed deck list. A closed deck list, you wouldn't know if they had some secret sauce in their deck. Some secret tech that you have to be worried about. But if it's open deck list and you get to look at the deck list beforehand, so you get to see their sideboard, what should be, so you know what you're playing against game one, you know what's in their sideboard that can side in, and you can make pretty healthy predictions off of that. And very to know what their deck is made of by like 99% probably for game 2 and 3. Okay. And then Randy responded to George, said, feeling the same way, only decks that have a chance into Kaisa currently are unfun, degenerate ones that just hope to high roll the win. They promote such unfun gameplay. I don't even want to bother with today's tournament. I'll probably just play Teemo for fun. That's interesting too, because Randy did pretty good in the tournaments. He's playing Kaisa though, so he's playing the strongest deck. And so like Kaisamirs probably feel better than dealing with the other decks, but and the only way to deal with Kaisa, because Kaisa's so strong, is Misfortune, is an Annie. So I get it, but that's also why I play Ari, because I have fun playing Ari, and so even though I know I'm disadvantaged, I know I can still win. I have a chance, and it's more fun to play. I like the style of the deck, and I like playing for a best of. All right, so we're actually into game now, so we can get it on. So looks like we're starting out with Sigil of the Storm and Reaver's Row. So Reaver's Row is going to allow Kaisa to go in, capture, and then bring her units back to protect them. Like, so ideally conquering with your Kaisa, Survivor, that kind of thing. And Sigil the Storm on Ali's side is, hey, if the way to beat me is you have to get out to a lead. And if I say, you know, a lot of people expect like Aspirant's Climb or something, but if it's expected, where I think that Sigil the Storm, the nice part about this is whether I go first or second as an Aurora deck, or whether I get the choice. If you start out first and you're trying to score race me, you're going to have to pay runes in order to do that, because you're going to have to go capture the Sigil Storm, and I can protect it with Fight or Flight. You can conquer, and then I can bounce you back on the next turn, so you're not sitting there and holding it. Because the ideal is you pay the 1 rune once, and then you hold with the unit on it. I wonder if they're getting told when they can actually start. Game should be untimed though. It is untimed in the bottom right, so I'm curious why they're just like not letting them rip. I think Riftbound is a very fun game. I can see how these players at the very top level that have played thousands of games now at this point between online and in-person games are bored of the meta and they're expressing it, and that makes a lot of sense. I think there are some things that make me a little scared for the future, and like there's a lot of like the Jace tech where like you're playing Jace into, you know, the gear that makes 3 tokens every turn. And I was watching like a video of like Savage and I think it was like Silent Knight were playing a matchup. They were playing Aurelia versus Renata, and Savage just got 3 of those things out, and he was making 9 unit tokens a turn, and it was just like, doesn't matter what crazy hand you have, you can't survive that. Like, you need the thermo beam, you need something to destroy gear. So gear hate's gonna be a premium next set for sure, which might curb Aurora. We'll see. Okay, all right. The awkward fist bump handshake. I mean, it's a Riot game, so you're supposed to do the fist bump. I'll just, you know, if you're ever not sure, you should do the fist bump because it's Riot games. All right, so Ali going to ramp. Good start on a first turn. I'm interested if he got the choice, because a lot of times, sometimes the correct choice against an Aurora deck is to let them go first so they have less runes. We have 5. So he has stacked deck here, so he can actually grab, he just drew a catalyst off the top, so he could just grab a catalyst. Again, it's all about consistency. The stack deck makes this deck so much more consistent. So Ali's at 7 runes. Jonathan's at 5. He could play an Aurora next turn if he has one, or I don't know. I don't think I saw him have one. Patty Poor is going to score the first point. And then we have the Kaisa Survivor. And if Ali doesn't get if he doesn't have an Aurora or draw into an Aurora, then I think he just Mind Splitters here. And he even has Sabotage, so he could Sabotage first into a Mind Splitter, or he could he has 9, so he could Mind Splitter and then challenge and kill the Kaisa. Although I don't know if Jonathan's playing retreats. I haven't seen a retreat from him, which is a little bit surprising. We're digging for the Aurora, which makes sense. So his choices there were Mind Splitter, which I think is still good because it gives you hand knowledge. And he has sabotage, so he can go for that time warp before it becomes relevant. He still has a turn for that, but you can either go Mind Splitter here or you go Misfortune. The advantage of getting Misfortune out early is Misfortune allows you to do shenanigans where you can ready units because whenever she goes and moves, you can ready anything. So you can ready a unit to basically that you cast. So for example, if you played Misfortune first, on the next turn you could bring, if you don't accelerate or whatever you do with her, you could bring her to a battlefield to capture Sigil, let's say, and then you play Mind Splitter, bring that out. The disadvantage of playing her early in the first game is you probably don't have any yielding or any other tech for Falling Star or other cards that could just bop her. But if you do have her in play, she can ready runes for you, so you have more runes. She can ready units. She's just a really great tech card. Really cool card in the game. I'm glad that Misfortune has a deck so you can actually see her get played. I think she's an interesting card. I think if there's ever any really Stupefy. Oh yeah. So basically this is different. So Jonathan saved a lot of what we saw last time is Jonathan saved a lot, kind of played patient, built up a board to go in. And here he's just spending as much as he can out. Basically top decks or draws into that singularity. And then it's able to then clear himself of the Mind Splitter. And he would have been able to do it anyways. Like, so like if he waited a turn, saw another card. Oh, okay. Are we dead blooming? All right, dead bloom it is. I don't know. I feel like the thing that really gets me when I play into Kaisas is retreat, and so it's funny to see a Kaisa deck that it looks like does not value retreat. I feel like they're always protecting their Kaisas. It's like anything you do to try to get to the Kaisa, and said that I think their answer is just run more Kaisas. Don't worry about the retreat. Don't worry about the ramp. You don't need it here. But it's 2-1. So Ali again. Ali's been in this position before, where it's like you have to find the line where at some point, if you don't hit the Aurora, you got to play a different game. So he's playing big creature game, which is still tough for Kaisa to deal with. Because Kaisa can't, Cathian Rain here. So we have a Cathian Rain, we have Time Warp. Ali still has a Sabotage in hand. So we have a bunch of the big curve stuff here for this Kaisa player. But you can't a Cathian Rain here because a Cathian Rain, Deadbloom Predator has deflect, and so if you a Cathian Rain into a Deadbloom Predator, you're just blowing all your runes. You're just going to 0 at that point. And actually, if you cast it in this instance, you would have to hit some of your own units, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to kill the Deadbloom Predator because you need 4, but then there's 2 more triggers you have to assign to something, which is kind of funny. So it pulls back the Poro. Should be it. Realize you should be at 4. All right. Always confront. He also has a fight or flight. He could, I don't think he wants to tap out is the other thing. But he could go into Reaver's Row, but I don't know if that's worth it. All right, here's the Sabotage. So now he's gonna see, okay, the warp's there, and we've added to Cathian Rain, we've added Watcher. So it's what can we target? And all of those are great answers pretty much. Cleave does not cost you a rune. You could sack into the Dead Bloom. He doesn't have Aurora yet. So, I mean, this game is completely different agency-wise if Aurora is in or not. If Aurora is in play, instead of having to play the Dead Bloom, for example, even, or heaven forbid the Mind Splitter, like, there are more big creatures on the board right now and things are looking dire for Jonathan. But because Ollie's Auroras are in witness protection, he's in trouble. All right, the time warp goes to the bottom. It's recycled. Ollie could play the Misfortune, although he knows what's in there. So he's going to gank over to the Reaver's Row. I don't mind this. I like this. That forces, like, if you want the free point, you have to spend a rune to do it. Respect it. Excuse me, headset. My headset just decided to turn off for some reason. Hello? It's just like, nah, I'm out. But we're back. All right, so let's see what Jonathan is going to do here. Because it's tempting. It costs you a rune. You can float the rune. So pro tip, if you're ever going into the Sigil of the Storm, you can float before you do it to use the rune if you need to. Oh, we're tapping 6. We're tapping 7. What are we looking at? What are we feeling? Are we doing this the slow watcher? We're doing the slow watcher again. Okay. I've seen Kaisa's more and more adopt this slow watcher. Ooh, okay. So we slow watcher to drop the Dead Bloom to 5, and then we pay the iron price. We're gonna pay 3 runes to clear this Dead Bloom. I think that's the correct play. And then now he can't capture. So does he want to spend another room? He's definitely going to Reaver's Row, and we're going to draw off of that, of course. That would send us to 5. I don't know. I feel like 6 is so tempting, though. Against Ali. Ali has a fighter flight, so he could push this back. I think he's considering delaying right now. And then he has a gust. Or no, is that this Ride the Wind? And Ali's just like, please give me an Aurora. Nope, that's not it. Again, Jonathan R is just the jujitsu master here. You know, part of it's the fact that Ali's deck's just not seeing Auroras. I think the last featured match he had that I watched, he didn't draw an Aurora either. So maybe way later in the game. And the crappy part about that too is that you know, game 1 is your power game where they're probably not going to have gear hate in, so they can't do anything about the Auroras, where game 2 and 3 they might have thermo beam or something to get rid of your stuff. Okay, so he's at 6, so Jonathan just has to sit back. There's the Acathian Rain. Makes a ton of sense. And there's really nothing Ali can do at this point. There's really... You have a Misfortune that you can send out there, but not going to survive. Oh, we have... Wait, is that Primal Strength? He's got to do something, so... we're gonna get an accelerated misfortune. It's going to go and capture Reaver's Row, I'm guessing. This is the just stay alive play. And then he can kind of do a pseudo stall because depending on what Jonathan has or what he swings in with, he can ride the wind to the other battlefield. But the problem, when he has primal strength, and he can ride the wind to the other battlefield. So Ali lives. That like this could be very dangerous. But there's also a world where Jonathan are kind of, you know, actually no, like Ollie's still in this because he has primal strength to survive, and then he has ride the wind, so he can, and ganking as an option. So even if Jonathan goes and stacks the other battlefield, Ollie can clear it next turn with a 12 power fortune. And if he tries to like baby chump it here, let's say, for example, he just rides the wind to the other battlefield, he still has primal strength. So he survives whatever the attack in is. I think there's a cleave and a hex ray though. He's still so what is he gonna swing? Let's see, swings for 9. Let's say he leaves and goes to the other battlefield. Kaisa comes in and she represents 10, so I don't think she can't get over with just a cleave and a hex ray. We would need the Poro. Yeah, Ollie can be really evasive here because yeah, if Jonathan doesn't come in with small enough something, right? Yeah, so I think what's going to happen here is there could be a primal strength here that forces out Jonathan's buffs, and then after that happens, ride the wind to the other battlefield. Or is he gonna Reaver's Row back, give him the 7th point, and then in response go in? That's interesting. I think I see the retreat in Jonathan's hand, so he does have the card. Makes a lot of sense. Thank goodness. Although not really the killer card here. He doesn't have enough runes to do the boomerang watcher, but that would be hilarious. He boomerangs the watcher back and then you would play it. It would be nuts. I think Ollie's just mathing out how to survive this, but I think he primals here. That draws out your, because it's 9, so you would need to draw out the cleave. That'll put them at, yeah, that'll put them at 12. So it'll be 12 to 12. Then he rides the wind over the other battlefield, goes to 5. Do you have a Darius in hand? Does Jonathan have a Darius in hand? Okay, so he primal rages. That puts him at 12. Cleave comes in. Do you have Darius? No. He has another watcher. Okay. So he cleaves to match. I mean, all his only play here is to ride the wind. So he rides the wind over, and then he's against a 4 plus most hex ray, right? So unless Ollie has a gust or something in hand, I don't know what the other card is, but he needs to ride the wind because he needs to save the misfortune. taking a long time on this one. But I kind of, because the problem with this is he won't be able, I think he's pretty much done. I think all he knows is he's in a lot of trouble after he does this anyways. So, I mean, we're just basically buying a turn for the most part. He rides the wind over, capture, goes to 5, but then he has to burn another rune, which means he cannot then, in that case, be able to cast Aurora next turn, for example, if he pulled it. But he could cast a Dead Bloom. Dead Bloom won't clear, but he can at least clear the big guy, bring in. But then he's pretty much, he's basically just buying a turn because we know Watcher's in the hand for Jonathan. Jonathan can't clear. Gonna retreat the Poro. Okay. Okay. Because he still wants the big body there. So Ali has to draw something really good here. If he draws Dead Bloom, then he can capture with it. So he's a catalyst, which is not going to do it. Plays catalyst. Okay, he's just gonna catalyst bullet. Oh, I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like we're playing out in desperation mode, but like, you know, really we should be going to the next game because there's no world where Ollie comes out of this with the dub. We know the hand. Probably doesn't expect, he's probably hoping there's not another Watcher, but we know the Watcher's coming. He's at 7, and he's like, if I hold, I'm good. And so, I mean, in his head, I mean, he's playing to his outs, so I don't blame him. We just know that he's in a lot of trouble. Can't have primal strength. Yeah. He's scooping. Double hex ray, Watcher, exactly the emphatic point to get us over the line. Sully's gonna go down game 1, but I mean, really the truth of the matter of this series is it's gonna come down to, do you hit your Aurora or not? And if you don't hit your Aurora, then you're gonna have a bad time. You're gonna have a sad time out there in Aurora land. There's a long pause between maybe players are going to the bathroom. Who knows? Long pause between game 1 and 2. All right, we're back. We're back in action. We're shuffling up. All right, we're deciding the battlefield still. Oh, it's the giant battlefield. So Aspirin's climb. It could be anything. It's just a giant Aspirin's climb. It's so fun. I actually like the jumbo battlefields. I think they're better for camera stuff too, but my bias take. All right, here we go. Starting with the Poro. Again, Jonathan making the Misfortune deck play first. And the tough part about this for Ali is going to be he's going to have to pay. You have to cycle a rune. Ali needs to recycle a rune. Wait, what's happening? Ali should have recycled a rune for the Pouty Poro. Is he asking to go to the bathroom? What are we doing? Why I'm just wondering why we have to go have that conversation over off to the side with the ref. That's kind of weird. I don't know. That's feels weird. All right, so he has double Aurora. And again, he's just trying to stall so he can get this Aurora out, but he has no ramp. So this is where, like, you know, it's just the struggles of the Aurora life, where it's like it's like, can you find the Aurora or can you find the ramp? And we have the mech, who's one turn away. We're gonna, I think hopefully he finds a ramp is probably what he wants to do here. Yeah, say he's gonna take the fighter flight. That makes a lot of sense, so he can push away the mech. He has a lot more room, but this is still a very slow Aurora. But the good part about that is he can actually play them back to back. So if he plays an Aurora, let's say that Jonathan sighted in a thermo beam. I haven't fully seen his hand or not. Let's say he sighted in a thermo beam. He thermo beams. You follow that up with another Aurora, and you're feeling pretty good. Again, this is all just about stalling. It's 2 points, and you have to get to 9 on Aspirin's climb. So he's developing quite the board, but if his Auroras stick, then it doesn't matter. Because he's going to be getting 2 ginormous units a turn. Which Kaisa, despite the board, is just not going to be able to deal with. And if he hits Mind Splitter off the rip, then, you know, he's going to rip the best card out of Jonathan's hand. We'll also get to see Jonathan's hand, which would be nice. We're not. We're gonna get Dead Bloom and base. Which again, this is a smart play by Jonathan to make sure that all his units are pulled back the turn that Aurora is going to come into play, so he doesn't just lose free units to the Dead Bloom. But he's only at 2 points. So value is premium here. He's going to get to draw a card with that Kaisa. Gonna play another Darius? What do we contemplate? We're thinking about a play, then we went away. We're tapping 5 runes. So it either could be Darius, could be another accelerated Kaisa. I wouldn't say that's a terrible play. He's not gonna, there's no reason to Cathian Rain here. He has Falling Star. He's probably thinking of what combo can he do that can limit. Okay, yeah. Points and drawing cards is good. We love points and drawing cards here in this house. That should take him to 4. I want them to count their points more instead of on the sheets, but I'm looking at the board and it's like always bugs me. It's like messy. Oh. Interesting. Must have a retreat or something for the Kaisa on the other board or something. Ooh, is he gonna stack it? Because the Aurora triggers will go, I think they go off before you start the showdown though. Taps and he is showing 4 runes, so he has a lot of extra hate if you try to go in on this board, but I think he has to play I think he plays the second Aurora here, depending on what else is in his hand, but I'm pretty sure he just plays the second. It's really not the correct play, but he does have a lot of other things in hand. He does have a fighter flight. He does have some other stuff, some other juice. So, okay, there's the smoke screen. That makes a lot of sense. Puts him down to 4. Makes sense with the Yordle. So now he is winning at this location. He paid with Kaisa, and then he paid a rune for the deflect. So he just needs to decide, do I want to take this trade? And he's like, you know what? I don't need to play anything else. I'm not going to get anything valuable. So he's going to play a second Aurora. And this is where if Jonathan's patient enough that he has a Thermo Beam in hand, he's going to Thermo Beam this, then he deserves the win. Mind Splitter, but if he did have a Thermo Beam, it's not going to be in his hand any longer. I mean, you can do it like this anyways, but... Oh, Oh, interesting. I'm guessing he brought that in because if you have the mech or other big cards, then you can kill his big creatures. Okay. I kind of like it. He's cooking. Like, Get Excited is an interesting tech to try to clear here. I mean, he doesn't have anything he could really use off it that's better, but Get Excited, basically you discard a card and you deal damage equal to its energy cost. So like, let's say like I have a time warp and I'm gonna win the game anyways, and I, you know, whatever, low mana, whatever. You could use the time warp to deal 10 damage and destroy a Dead Bloom Predator, for example, or one of his giant 10 Might Drakes. Then there's the Dead Bloom. And he has 2 left. He can. They have double Hextech Array. I think he just has a. He could Get Excited and then ditch something, but. He just says goodbye. He's like, I'll keep my runes. This game's gonna get uncomfortable though. He's survived the set, but double Aurora is a different beast because double Aurora is just 2 big creatures every turn. And the scary turn is next turn when Ali gets to use his other cards, Fight or Flight, etc. Because after he untaps, he's not playing the 3rd Aurora, but he is going to play. He's going to have other cards. He's going to have Ride the Wind. He's going to be ganking if you don't start clearing stuff. There's the 10 Might Darius to clap back and clear. Gonna put him up to 5. He's gonna pull back his other units. Once you can get the active again, because you only get it on conquering. So if you're just sitting there holding it, then it doesn't really help you. And then the activated Darius that was on the base he brought back. And you do that so that when Ali pulls other Dead Bloom Predators, they can't just go straight to the battlefield and clear his units. Now, all this said, now this is the turn, if you will, where there's 3 points still, so he can't lose. Ollie can't lose next turn, but he's gonna hit 2 cards. Probably one's gonna be a Mind Splitter, so he'll be able to clear something valuable out of Jonathan's hand. But then he also has, looks like he has double Gust. He has a Fight or Flight. He has Misfortune he could potentially play as well. He has a Inverted Timelines, which he probably doesn't want to play at this point since his hand is stacked. He has a Ride the Wind, so he could pick up points, but he could also use it defensively to surprise his opponent, depending on how they attack and do things. Gonna pay 8. Oh, he has another Dead Bloom in hand. Interesting. Okay, so he's gonna play Dead Bloom for the hold. He has 1 up, so he has 1 up. He basically just has Gust potential, but now, see, now he's gonna hit. Now that's his 2nd Dead Bloom, so his chance of hitting a Mind Splitter is even higher now. So there's either gonna be another 10 Might Body that's coming down saying hello. Ooh, okay. He's gonna hide a Fight or Flight, and he gets to untap 2. Mind Splitter. There's number 1. It's like, here you get to see what's going into my trash or going into the bottom of my deck. I mean, it makes sense that you write all these down because information it's valuable because you know how stuff is going to draw. So he's writing it down, and you have a limited time in the world, so it ends up mattering. It ends up mattering. You have double Aurora, so I feel like it's going to become irrelevant faster than it's going to become relevant. The cool part about Volibear Aurora decks that I saw was that a lot of people are now running Vi. The Vi is a good early drop, but also when you use her ability, you recycle all the cards into your deck. And so if you're playing an Aurora Volibear deck, the cool part is you can put your creatures back in your deck. There's never a point like in this case where there's a point where Ali could run out of big creatures. So Ali gets to look at the hand. He's double Hexray. I get excited. So he knows it's just a bunch of direct damage spells. And to be clear, Johnson has a board. That's a board. And now, okay, so he hits the Drake. So it's a question of, does he play it to the battlefield is what he's thinking, or does he play it to his base? And he's going to decide to play it to his base. So he's representing 15 on the board. He has a fight or flight. Worst case scenario, he could pull both back if he really wanted to. But more than likely what's going to happen is if Jonathan swings in, he's just going to send something big back so that he is able to get a value swing, and that'll be enough. So Jonathan has to swing in with enough that he can expect the fight or flight and still get over the top, which is a lot to get over 15 and have something big. So you'd have to swing with your mech and a Darius amped up, and then expecting one of those is going to get bounced, and then you'd have to have the follow up. But that I don't think that'd be good, because what you're looking at, the rest on the board, you have 10 on the board, so 10 plus 17. Oh, there it is. He top decked a Watcher. He top decked a Watcher. So Ali's now holding with 5, 9, which is a lot more manageable. And Jonathan right now is playing the point game, so he's going to go to 7, and then he's going to probably cast some spells. He could double Ray. At least clear the... He could double Ray, but that would be bad because you're going to get fighter flighted. But he could double Ray, and that's going to ready the Darius so he can bring it back to protect it. Yes, Ollie, it's as bad as you feared. It's -3 though, so right now you're fine. Oh, he's thinking he can gust. He can gust his own mind no, because mind splitter's not low enough. It has to be 3. What? Am I missing something? Yeah, it's like, it was a really cool play until it's only -3. Yeah, and you know, damage doesn't lower the might of the unit. So I think Ali didn't realize that he thought his mind splitter was dead, so he was saving it. So now, yeah, but now you just fight or flight in response. So Ali can fight or flight in response. Hextech Ray will fizzle because the mind splitter will no longer be at the battlefield. And then you have enough to fight or flight your own unit if you want. So it saves the mind splitter. Big. Dude, this board for Jonathan is insane. Insane board. Like, he's been so patient with it too, which is the crazy part. Because he could, so if he swings in with the Watcher here, he basically has to find out. So if Ali fighter flights the Watcher, then the mech just comes in and cleans up the dead bloom. So he would have to fight or flight his dead bloom back. But if he does that, Watcher goes, then we'll send him to 8. Regardless, he's going to 8. Jonathan's going to 8 this turn. Oh, he just lets it go. Okay. He values holding on to the fight or flight more. He only has 1 dead bloom left in the deck. Jonathan's played such a good game into this. I mean, obviously the Watcher off the top saved a lot of this game because it made this turn really juicy when it would have been, you know, a big turn where Ali probably would have lost a lot of units. Jonathan's in a great position here. Ali's only at 2, so the max points he's getting is 2 off this next turn, so it's not like he can threaten there. He can hold. Does he have bullet time in hand? Bullet time would also be a big saving grace. All right, he's gonna stack deck. So he Mind Splitter, Soul Gorger. He has to decide which one he wants, if he wants to cast one or if he wants to sabotage. I think he's contemplating he'd rather pull them from the deck, but they're gonna go to the bottom. I think so. His inverted timelines. Do you have a confront? Is that what that is? He just cast a stack deck, right? So shouldn't he only have 1 tapped? Yeah. Could take the sabotage. So I'm interested to see what else he has, because if he has if he has a second Soul Gorger, then he can still hit that off the top. But he will not hit a Mind Splitter. No smoke screen there, notably. Jonathan doesn't have a lot left, so if Ali can just make a strong enough stand. Yeah, I think Jonathan right now is pointing out that he shouldn't have as many runes tapped as he does. Because he only played stack deck this turn, which is correct. Jonathan, good guy, Jonathan. He has Gus. He has two Gus, I think. He has 2 Gus, so he can deal with any little guys. Ollie's just hating stuff right now, but I think he's deciding whether he wants to split the battlefields or not and go for a hold and basically beg Jonathan to top deck. That's what it really comes down to. Because if Ali hits Soul Gorger, he can bring something back, put it into play on top of the base. He doesn't have a Mind Splitter down. Okay. We're just going for bodies on bodies on bodies. We're holding as hard as we can. He recaptured, so he's going to get 2 runes at the back at the end of this turn too. And so now we're Aurora time. So what do we hit? Full time off the top. All our ramp. our other Aurora. Mind Splitter. He drops the Get Excited. And then Soul Gorger, right? I think it's Soul Gorger's left. Jonathan's in Heart of the Cards mode. Top decking is going to determine a lot of his success here. Because Ali has double Gust. There's a Soul Gorger. He doesn't have 2 Soul Gorgers. He has... I've seen some decks going towards double Soul Gorger. Its body is not very good, so if you hit it early, it sucks. But if you hit it at this point, then you get to choose, pick your poison, which he can basically just bring back out a Deadbloom Predator. And now he just basically gets to decide what battlefield he wants to put it on. And Jonathan's at a point right now where he's at... he still has turns. He still has turns before this becomes a true problem. He has 2 more turns before Ali can just straight up win. So theoretically, he could, if he can be patient and draw more cards depending on what this is. Now it's mathing time. So he won't have 2. So he won't have 2 cards. So he can't buff Darius this turn. Make Darius like a 7. We know that Ali has. Do you have 3 runes open? Okay, that's not as bad. So Ali has a Fighter Flight and he has 2 Gusts. So basically, unless this card in his hand is a Watcher. There's no world where this turn goes well for Jonathan on a swing, probably. So we have 26 at the Aspirant's Climb. Okay, we're playing the Deadbloom. We're passing. So he's basically saying, hey, I have 2 more turns. I have 2 more turns before this is a problem. And Ali might have pulled this off. He does have inverted timelines. So the nice part about inverted timelines is if you inverted timelines, you recycle your trash into your deck. You would get access to more units. The problem is Ali, where he's sitting, is like he doesn't want Jonathan to have more cards. So there's no world where. In this case, do you just shuffle the deck or what happens? Because do they all get revealed? There's no unit and then you shuffle? At the end of your turn, reveal cards from the top of the main deck until you reveal a unit, play it, ignoring its cost, and recycle the rest. Yeah, so you would from the top of your main deck until you reveal a unit, play it, ignoring its cost, and recycle it. So recycle the rest is at the end. So you'd reveal all your cards, there'd be no unit, then you'd recycle them, which means you would shuffle them because it would be random. So you would shuffle your deck technically twice, but I figure in this case they can just do it once. He draws at the top, it's a Pouty Poro. We go to 8, and then next turn is the final turn. So he has built up as many units as possible, and the top deck that will probably get him the most value is a Watcher. And Ali has 2 Gusts, a Ride the Wind, I think a Primal Strength in there somewhere. Ali's now like, my deck plays itself. Huzzah. The fun of playing as an Aurora deck. All right. Jonathan's Hopes and Dreams top deck. He needs a Watcher. We're in here. Oh. It's not bad. It means that Ali basically doesn't get to play anything from his hand because he didn't hide anything. So now we're just down to straight math. So it's 26 on Aspirin's Climb, and it is 23 on Peak, I believe. Go 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Versus, so it's 23 and 26. I mean, he could take one battlefield, but doesn't matter. All he has to do is make sure he kills the Kaisa, and there's no chance. Jonathan doesn't. I'm sorry, brother. You don't have enough math. There's no math. Because what? You're 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 23 over there. I mean, like, you can clear one battlefield, but the funny thing again about this game is, again, Aspirin's Climb is the reason Ali was even able to have a chance in this game. He's gonna get at the finish line. I think you swing and Ali just does the smart thing and destroys your 13, 17. We used to draw one card. Unfortunately, there's no card that clears the other 26 might battlefield. Aspirin's Climb for the win. He gets it. He gets there. We go to game 3. Oh man. I gotta be honest. Aurora's kind of gross. Aurora's kind of gross to watch. Oh man. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Jonathan did anything wrong there. I mean, it's just his last few draws at the end of the game were basically just 2 might units, and he got outvalued by the Auroras in the end and Aspirin's Climb. But on the flip side, there should be no Aspirin's Climb on this next. Got water all over. So there should be no Aspirin's Climb on this next game. Otherwise, Ali would be cheating. So no Aspirant's Climb. On top of that, you also, so the last is Obelisk of Powers, I think. So you're probably looking at just accelerated runes. And that's not as big of a problem because I think that Jonathan's main problem this game was that he had to play to 9. Otherwise, he's playing a really solid game plan. So even into a double Aurora. So the key will be if Ollie's deck just fires on all cylinders this turn, this next game. Because if he gets ramp into an Aurora, then he's set. But first game, no Aurora. Second game, no ramp, but had double Aurora. So when he got there, it was very powerful. And he had enough stall, like we saw earlier with the Gus fighter flights, to buy time with points. Honestly, the matchup is kind of gross. Kind of gross matchup. While he's playing a good game. The Aurora and MF stonks are going to go through the roof after this event, I'm sure, and like for the end of set 1. I'm excited for set 2 stuff. I'm excited to see what comes out of the China tournaments. I think obvious first impressions are that Raven and Aurelia, there'll probably be some fun Rek'Sai decks. There will probably be, I'm guessing, Azir decks that are going to, competitive decks that are going to come out of it. Ornn also looks really good for equipment play style. I'm happy that the next Calm Mind deck in the Ari colors is also going to be one that I'm probably going to enjoy and have fun with. Basically Kai'Sa ability for equipment, which is pretty cool, in gear. All right, we're back. We're back into the Ultimate Game 3. So Obelisk of Power into, what is that? Is that Targon's Peak? Star tipped peak. That's what it is. Not Targon's, star tipped. Okay. All right. All Zimbabos. Double Darius in the opening hand. Not necessarily what we want to see. It's good for getting over the top of one unit we saw. You know, the Cleave Darius is a good way to clear the first big unit as long as it's not the Drake. All right, so again, chose correctly for Ali to go first. Ali is gonna draw with Confront. Okay. Ooh, he has a possession in his hand. Oh, well, he finds the Aurora, so is the consistency of the MF Aurora deck. He finds the Aurora, so he's good there. The downside for Kai'Sa in these matchups is Kai'Sa has no ability to influence the hand of Ali. He's going to go double 2-drop so that he's going aggressive, low to the ground. This is good. Still can be gusted, obviously. Oh, and he finds ramp. Oof. Oof. Jonathan, so close, but now drawing all his Fury runes. He's gonna get on the board. He's gonna go to 2. And the question is, what does Jonathan want to play? He's gonna slow play Kaisa makes a ton of sense. And here comes trouble. So Aurora ramps into it. And our first hit is going to be hopefully not a Mind Splitter for Jonathan. And unfortunately, I jinxed it. It's not even just that the Mind Splitter comes out because and like takes a card. It's that the Mind Splitter. Oh, are they talking about him being able to see the cards that were flipped over? I think they're, yeah, because basically I think Jonathan wants to see the cards because he's been writing down the cards as they've come through. So they could see that, hey, both Auroras got recycled. So I know that he doesn't have a second Aurora in hand. Like, because that is important information. So savvy of Jonathan to stop him and basically say, hey, let me see the cards. Because you do have to reveal the cards. It's in the card. You have to reveal all the cards. And so usually people go through it fast and you're just like, whatever. But Jonathan's like, hey, this is for first place. This is for the finals. So he's basically like, hey, let me see those cards. And now that he knows that you don't have a second Aurora, that could change some of his decisions or feelings about this. Now, on top of that, the Mind Splitter is just the worst thing that you could have come off the top first. Because people think Dead Bloom Predator because it stops your points and it puts a body. Yeah, sure. But hand information, the fact that Ali knows the hand of Jonathan, that's the real damage. Yes, you lose a card. That is very powerful. And it could be any card. But the fact that I also just know what your hand is tough. He goes to 4. Point tempo wise, it's not bad, but it's not ideal. We can pull back. He can kill. Depending on what he drew, he has a good chance at having a good swing back into his opponent. Gonna play Darius, get it out on the battlefield. So yeah, when you play against a Misfortune or Aurora deck, part of it is that you need to be able to get stuff out. And sometimes you, like, if you have a Watcher in hand, like saving it for the Accelerate Watcher turn might not be the correct play. Sometimes, depending on what they've played in the board, what you've seen through the Aurora, is you may need to just play it out there and get it out of your hand so you have the 7 might body. Because the card's powerful off the rip, but it's painful if you lose it to a Mind Splitter. You use it to Mind Splitter just off the rip and you never get to play the card, which is the battle that I end up with when I play against this deck as an Ari player. And he just plays another Mind Splitter from hand, just shredding his hand to pieces. So next turn, he can play 2 cards to ready the Darius. Cleave would be the strongest ability because it gets Darius to 10. Yeah, he gets rid of the Cleave. That makes sense. And retreats become even more valuable also too, because if you do happen to play, let's say, a Watcher out early because you're getting it out of your hand to avoid a Mind Splitter, then you can then retreat it back to your hand to cast it and get the -3 effect. Or you can do stuff like he could retreat his Darius, replay the Darius comes in ready at 7, etc. Now he's deciding if he wants to stack or not. Maybe he doesn't. He's going to keep it in base. Let's say he retreats a unit, he stupefies. That represents 8, 12. 13, 14 at most, which would be enough to trade with the mind splitters. But now he's like, great. Okay, well, I might just go capture to draw, which would be a good play. But that is assuming Ali does not have a fight or flight in hand. Although he could retreat. If he fight or flights, retreat, replay the Kaisa, accelerate, go back into the base. Stupefy and draw first. Okay. Hoping for something big. If he draws another 2-drop, he's going to be hating life. He drew another Ravenbloom student. Unlucky. Unlucky. He's going in. He's going for the draw. There's the fight or flight. So now he can do... He can retreat, play her, go for draw. That is a play. Not the best play, but it's a play. He's just really trying to get cards in hand. Trying to get a power card because he doesn't have any power cards in hands left. Like, he has good mid-range stuff, but he's already looking at a stacked battlefield. It's going to be really hard. Oh, so okay, he just swings in the lookout. What's he get? Oh, he has a get excited. Get excited with no other big cards in hand, it looks like. He has a lecturing Yordle. He could keep going down this path of draw cards and hopefully hit something, but he'll only have 6 energy left after he played a lecturing Yordle, which means that he can't play anything big like an Cathy Rain or something that might help him clear the at least some of these mind splitters. All right. Yeah. He's going to go and capture, probably bring back the Darius. He's given up on his card draw dreams, basically, with the retreat pattern. And so he's basically just going to ready and activate and then bring the Darius back, which makes sense. And we continue to develop. Does it get excited? Get excited, retreat, and I don't know what that other card is. Is that a Yordle? Because theoretically, if it's the Yordle's only 7 though, right? So you could clear a unit. Treats. Okay, where are we retreating? Oh dang, we're digging deep. We're retreating the Yordle to draw. Okay. And the sad part about all this is he could still just rip another mind splitter off the top with Aurora. it's if you like finally hit a card after all that draw, he's cycling through so much just to draw for answers. It's like you really got to find a lot of back-to-back value to beat an Aurora deck. Still has 1 battlefield open, but it can be taken with ganking. So that is still a possibility. Misfortune also is still available on the board. Jonathan is in a tough spot. All right, here we go. Oh, there it is. The mind splitter off the top. And he gets rid of the big mecha yordle. The big body off the board. Mind splitter, man. It's the reason this deck is good. If it was just another big body, it would not matter as much as the fact that it just eats your hand alive. He's lost. What has he lost? He's lost a mech, a Darius, and a cleave for mind splitter. Cleave not as bad, but the mecha yordle and the Darius is two big bodies that he could be using to do something. And now we're getting to the point where he can spend stuff to clear one of these battlefields and try to claw back a little bit, but he's playing into a lot of runes that Ollie's holding. And then like B, if you lose too much here, you don't have a lot in your hand. Like your hand's getting thin. You just drew as much as you could last turn, and it, you know. What did he play? He didn't wait. So he's not playing. Jonathan's not playing Dreaming Tree? Huh. Because like Dreaming Tree would solve a lot of woes in this matchup. But he must not be running it because he's playing to win out the Kaisamirs, and I'm guessing. All right, we're slow playing a Kaisa. We have 8 left. Is he gonna pass? Okay. He passes. Ollie's gonna go to 5. Okay, what's happening? Ooh, so he's drawn 2 of the Dead Bloom Predators. And he has a possession too, so like insult to injury is like, even if Jonathan full swings into one of these boards and takes it, right? He's like, he's gonna possess your biggest unit. It'd be funny. A possession is slow and it has to target a unit on a battlefield. So right now, like, it's not like he can possess a unit in the back line of Jonathan. That would be obnoxious, but I think he's deciding what he wants to do. But I mean, I think right now you just slam, right? You slam Dead Bloom. Oh wait, wait, does he have a volley bear now? Johnson's like, what are you playing for 12, sir? He's like, surprise, it's a volley bear. I'm playing volley bear, obviously. Clearly. Everybody's favorite card that I added in between game 2 and 3. Oof. Jonathan's just like, all right, well, fun watching games just disappear in front of your eyes. But this is also, you know, going back to the George post we talked about a little bit partway through this game. Like this is kind of what he's talking about, where it's like, okay, hit Aurora on curve, and I'm at the mercy of my top decks and his top decks. I lost 3 of my big creatures, or my ability to swing in off of Mind Splitters. Now I'm looking at battlefields that are stacked over 20 plus already. The good news is he tapped out. So it is one of those things where you basically gotta go. Like you gotta go at some point. And it's just, where do you want to go? So he's gonna go 2. Oh, he's gonna go 2 into Volibear. Does Volibear? Interesting. Okay. The volley, when you swing it, has shield 3 and tank. So 3 of that damage is not going to matter on the swing in as much. I wonder if he's like, I wonder if he's like trying to solve so they can swing in, clear that, and then get the draw from a Kaisa or something. Yes. He has to clear the Volibear if he swings into the other side. And you've already put the damage in there, so you might as well. You're still going to be dealing with, what, 721? Because the Volibear has shield 3, so you're still going to be dealing with... Right now it's down to 4. It'll go up to 7. So yeah, 21 you'd still need. You play a second spell. You're at 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You have 22. If he swings with everything, right? 7, 8, 9, 17, 19, 20, 21, 22. Yeah. He cleaves the Darius. So Darius is going to go to 10. 10 plus 4 is 14. So he'll be able to clear 2. Okay. Then he double swings in with Kaisa. Loses 1, gets to draw 1. Hopefully that was an amazing card. If he has Time Warp, that would be that would be the money play, right? I mean, it wouldn't win the game, but at least he'd go, yeah, that's game. GG's. Aurora too strong. Too strong when you hit Aurora on curve to play out the game. So yep, expect everybody, if you didn't have Auroras now or Misfortune deck, expect all the prices to skyrocket. Have fun out there with that. Congratulations to Ollie for winning and taking this game. Man, he's the winner of the 10K Orlando PPG tournament. Congratulations to him. Aurora, MF Aurora on top, flew out to this tournament on a whim, and ends on a win. Great to hear from him. And it sounds like everyone else that's in the tournament is going to have a lot more fun in this 5K today. A lot of people are done playing Kaisa and Annie and stuff like that. They want to try some different stuff, I guess. We'll see if that actually holds true. I've heard a lot of players say that, and then they still end up playing Kaisa or their meta deck because they want to win the cash money that they flew there for. So anyways, that's it for me. Hope you had a good morning. Hope you had fun watching this top cut if you've stuck with me throughout this. And without further ado, congrats to Ali. Hope to see him in more tournaments coming forward, and excited about Spirit Forge stuff. And if there's future tournaments, I'll be on it. But I'm going to go play some Riftbound with my brother-in-law and family and all that kind of stuff and enjoy kind of some birthday time. And so, yeah, without further ado, remember, you're going to be amazing today because you are amazing. And I'll catch you next episode.